My name is Rachel. I am 32, a soft-spoken woman from a quiet town. I've been married to Mark for 8 years. We have a 6-year-old daughter named Lily, and from the outside their life looked perfect. A beautiful 2-story home with white shutters, a blooming garden filled with roses, and a cozy front porch where Lily played with her dolls. Mark was a hard-working man, quiet but kind. He worked long hours as a real estate agent and always made time for Lily. He helped with homework, painted her room pink, and brought flowers home every Friday. Rachel was proud of the life they'd built. But 6 months ago, everything changed. They hired a helper named Caleb, a tall man in his late 20s with dark curly hair, green eyes, and a calm presence. He came highly recommended, and soon he was part of the family. He trimmed the hedges, cooked on busy nights, and even played board games with Lily. Rachel felt something shift inside her. At first it was small, just warm smiles and laughter. They watched TV together, played with Lily in the garden. Caleb made her laugh in ways Mark hadn't in years, but the guilt wrapped around her like a chain. She still loved Mark, didn't she? Caleb was good with Lily, gentle and patient. He was respectful to Mark, always polite. But when Mark entered the room, Caleb's eyes changed. Softer when alone with her, colder when Mark was near. Rachel started to wonder if she was imagining things. One night, while doing laundry, Rachel found a hidden phone in Mark's coat. She hesitated, then opened it. What she saw shattered her world. Texts from another woman. Photos. Voice notes. "Can't wait to see you again." The affair had been going on for over a year. Rachel was devastated, furious, betrayed. But she couldn't scream. Not yet. Not while she was keeping a secret of her own. Weeks passed. Her emotions were tangled. Caleb confessed one night under the moonlight that he loved her, and she didn't stop him. But she also didn't tell him she loved him back. One stormy evening, Rachel broke. Tears running down her face, she told Mark everything. About Caleb, her feelings, her confusion. Mark sat in silence. Then he spoke. He admitted to the affair. He said it had ended 2 months ago, but he was ashamed. They were both living a lie. Mark was angry. So was she. But they decided to try and fix what was broken. Caleb quietly left the next day, said goodbye to Lily, and found work in another town. The house felt cold without him. Lily asked about Caleb often. Rachel didn't know what to say, so she said nothing. They began marriage counseling. Rachel worked hard to prove her love. Mark was distant, but slowly walls began to fall. They went on family outings to the zoo, had movie nights, even danced in the kitchen like old times. It wasn't easy, but they were trying. But Rachel still thought about Caleb, in dreams, in quiet moments. Mark, though trying, no longer trusted easily. One night, Rachel asked about the other woman. Her name was Elena. They met at a conference. Rachel asked if he still saw her. He shook his head. "We agreed no more secrets," Rachel reminded him, so they made a new rule. Always talk, even when it's hard. No more hiding, no more silence. And for a while, things felt better, real. Until the phone rang. Rachel answered. A voice she didn't expect, Elena. "She needs to know the truth," she said. Mark had been seeing Elena again, just once. He said it meant nothing. But Elena claimed something more. She was pregnant. Rachel's world cracked again. But this time something inside her didn't just break. It woke up. No more pretending. No more hoping Mark would change. She had spent years twisting herself to fit the mold of a perfect wife, carrying the weight of betrayal while clinging to the ruins of love. But now she saw things clearly. This was no longer about saving a marriage. It was about saving herself. 1 week later, Rachel sat in the garden, the late afternoon sun casting soft shadows across the lawn. Lily was nearby, drawing pictures in chalk on the patio stones, her laughter like a distant bell. Mark had gone on another business trip. She hadn't asked questions. She didn't need to anymore. Then, without warning, a familiar figure appeared at the edge of the fence. Caleb. He looked older, like life had worn down his edges, but his eyes, those sharp green eyes, still held the same quiet intensity. He didn't speak at first, just handed her an envelope. Inside, Rachel found 2 things. A photograph of Mark, not with Elena, but with a third woman, wrapped in his arms, clearly intimate. A small note in Caleb's handwriting. "I never stopped watching out for you, and he never stopped lying." Rachel's fingers trembled slightly, but she didn't cry. She stood slowly, walked into the house, and returned a moment later with something clenched in her hand, her wedding ring. She held it out to Caleb, palm open. "I'm done." He looked at her, uncertain. What now? Rachel looked toward Lily, then back at him. "I'm taking back my life. Lily deserves a mother who's strong, not silent." That evening when Mark returned, Rachel was waiting, bags packed, Lily's hand in hers. She didn't scream. She didn't plead. She simply handed him the photo, placed the ring on the table, and walked out. Mark called after her, said it wasn't what it looked like, that he could explain. But Rachel didn't turn around. Months passed. Rachel moved to a small house in the countryside. Caleb helped her settle in, but they didn't become anything more, not yet. She needed time to heal, time to find herself again, and he respected that. Mark still sent letters, some angry, some apologetic. Rachel never replied. One day Lily asked, "Will Daddy come back?" Rachel knelt beside her, brushing hair from her daughter's eyes. "Maybe, but we're okay, even if he doesn't." Rachel stands at the garden fence, watching the sun dip below the hills. A light breeze dances through the trees. Caleb joins her silently. "Do you ever regret it?" he asks. Rachel smiles softly. "No, I regret waiting so long to leave." Behind them, Lily giggles in the distance. Life isn't perfect, but it's finally honest. Then the phone rings inside. Rachel hesitates. Something in her chest tightens. She answers. A woman's voice, calm, unfamiliar. "Is this Rachel? I think we need to talk. It's about Mark."